All right, let's go to episode number 9. Episode number 9 was looking at the future of flight and air traffic management. And this was broke into a couple of separate pieces. And so the key takeaway from this was understanding how we're going to meet the growth and demands that are coming from the growth in the air traffic system. How do we look at scale and all while having safety be a main priority? My guest was Simon Brown, and he currently is contracting at EasyJet, but he's really the founder of a company called he's a co-founder of a company called Fly-to-Plan. And in this situation, we learned from him that the industry is really growing rapidly due to things like UAVs and eVTOLs and urban air mobility and drones. And he told us that we're seeing right now, and the projections are there's about a 10x increase in growth that's existing out there today. And one of the things that we have to do is we have to, in order to be able to accommodate that, have data sharing and trust and the utility that comes from that. And he kept emphasizing to us over and over again that safety was really, foundational. And then he introduced this new word that I hadn't really heard before, which was called uncrewed traffic management. And this was developed in the Future of Flight initiative that was in the UK, where they looked at what's happening with the growth and how are we going to manage uncrewed traffic, in the system. And so this was really a very interesting session where we became really aware of the growth in the system, and the system is really operating at capacity. And what are we going to do to be able to accommodate that? Gabe, what were your key takeaways from that session?
Yeah, one thing I really like to look at is, that data sharing, trust, utility, and safety are essential. And this was one of the key things I got away from it, is that, once again, that blockchain is, amazing technology when it comes to these sorts of things. So trust and utility and data sharing through the use of, decentralized nodes and Oracle services, that these safety and security is possible.
Yeah, and episode 2 built on that. Part 2 built on that. And so why don't we go to episode 10, which was really part 2, with another guest addressing the same, kind of a concept. And what we did here was we again looked at growing air traffic, control, focusing more on control. And Matt Banham is the CTO and founder of a company called Tech Tower. And it was a sort of an outcropping of those initiatives. And he has a background in air traffic control, and he managed development in organizations which were managing solutions for air traffic control towers. And so what we focused on, what's happening with the world of air traffic management and ATC workloads. They're really critical right now, because what we found, especially over the summer when we've had high traffic loads, is that right now today our ATC systems, our air traffic management systems, are really operating at capacity in order to be able to maintain safe environments. And so really there's been some slowdowns in different places that we saw because systems were operating at capacity. And what blockchain does is it brings together information sharing, trust, and data integration, which is going to allow us to be able to optimize the tower operations and the air traffic management operations to enable us to be able to scale more to meet the growth, the future growth. And what we looked at is that the future can be really dramatically impacted through the use of distributed ledger technology. And so what we have is really technology evolving, to support the essential growth that's happening in the industry. Gabe, what were your takeaways from this session?
Yeah, once again, it was similar to part 1, because this was just, the continuation part 2. But once again, technology evolution is essential to the growth. So very similar to part 1.
Yeah. And so in order to be able to meet the demands of the industry and the growth, we have to implement efficiencies, all while maintaining safety. And one of the key ways that we could do that is through the implementation of blockchain technology. All right, let's go to episode 11. Episode 11 focused on real asset management. And so we took a little shift, and we took a look at a company that's operating out of Bangkok in Asia Pacific right now. And my guest was Todd Sienna, and he is the founder and CEO of a company called Block Aero. And what Block Aero is doing is that they've already productionized the ability to be able to manage assets within aviation. And they're using blockchain technology to be able to load assets into the blockchain and to be able to manage those assets across the chain. So what assets are we talking about? We're talking about aircraft parts, we're talking about engine parts, and then we're able to manage those assets and assemble an entire configuration of airplanes and engines, and to be able to represent them maybe in a digital twin, or to represent them and track their records and maintain the value of those assets. Now, why do I say that? Is that as we have poor record keeping, or maybe we have records that are not comprehensive and complete, which happens when we have humans involved, the value of those assets goes down. And using the blockchain enables us to not only maintain that value, but increase the value by having improved management abilities, of those assets. And again, we're focusing on configuration, the tracking of the history, and really creating value in those assets. Gabe, what was your key takeaway from this session?
Yeah, my key takeaway was follows up with the key point number 3, which was configuration, tracking, history, and all create value in assets. And the reason for that is because, once again, we've been talking about blockchain and aviation, and how it is immutable, and how it is highly decentralized, and how it's able to track all these things. It's able to keep its value through its record keeping and its tracking. So that was my key takeaway.
Good. No, very good. That was good. Good summary, Gabe. Hey, Gabe, I got the word from our production controller that we're halfway through and we have to speed this up. So
okay, let's speed it up.
We're going to have to power through these in an abbreviated manner so that we keep people's attention and we give you the value that you're looking for. So let's go to episode 12. Episode 12 is looking at crypto basics. Gabe, this is one of them that you did, and we focused on crypto. Tell us quickly what you did to be able to help people, and if you want to learn about crypto and basics.
Yeah, so pretty much this episode was understanding the basics, what crypto is, and what wallets are, buying, transferring, moving things from MetaMask, from exchanges to MetaMask, or to different sorts of wallets. And we even had a screen recording on this one if you were new to this thing and you wanted to set up a wallet. And then we talked about security and safety, and what you need to do if you have a MetaMask. And I wish we would have gone to had another episode solely on security, but maybe that's for another day. But pretty much the key takeaway was just crypto, getting started, and getting a wallet set up, and safety.